sell any product or service to B2B businesses, then having a CRM is crucial for your business. In this video, I'm gonna share the best CRM for B2B businesses, which also has the ability to automate 80% of your work so that you can focus on closing more deals and growing your company's revenue. I'm not just gonna give you some names of any random CRM. Instead, I'm gonna actually show you all the pros and cons so that you walk away with more knowledge about the best CRM so you can add more revenue faster. If you don't know me yet, my name is Patrick Spielman, a 6-time Growth Award-winning franchise owner, 7-figure sales agency owner, and the founder of Upticks, which is the best sales software to win more customers and manage your pipeline. In this channel, I share all of my proven strategies that I learned over the last 14 years and that I used to charge clients $5,000, $20,000, and even $50,000 for. And the only reason I give it away for free is that when you apply my strategies, I'm 110% confident that you're gonna book more meetings, close more deals, grow sales, be more profitable, and you'll become a customer of Upticks. Let's talk about the best CRM for B2B businesses to skyrocket sales. There's 3 primary reasons why you want to use a CRM. A lot of people don't use these things right. They just pick up some sort of CRM, it just sits on the shelf and you waste your money month over month. Ultimately, the goal of any CRM is to keep track of every single deal and to close those deals faster, okay? That's really the purpose of a CRM, keep track of everything. The second is to nurture your prospects with the right information and turn them into customers. So if they're not a customer yet, how do we get them to be a customer? And the third thing is to stay organized and productive with automated task management. If your CRM is not doing any one of these things, then you might want to check out one of these CRMs I'm gonna go through in this video. First of all, I'm gonna start with the best big box CRMs in the industry. Just a disclaimer, make sure to always do your research. Things are changing all the time, but I'm gonna be giving you my unbiased opinion. And just an FYI, I've actually used every single one of these CRMs, so I'm not just going out to the internet and trying to find CRMs. I've actually used every single one of these, and I've used a lot more CRMs than just the ones I'm gonna go over. So I'm actually speaking from experience. So the first one I wanna go over is Salesforce. Before becoming a business owner, I actually used to program in Salesforce and developed it for the enterprise company that I worked for. I actually almost became a Salesforce administrator for that company, but ultimately I ended up deciding to become an entrepreneur and starting my first business, which was over 10 years ago. So I can intimately tell you some of the pros and cons here. The pros of Salesforce is, of course, they're a market leader. They're recognized as the best platform, the biggest platform, the most robust feature sets out there. They have an extensive third-party app ecosystem. A lot of companies integrate into Salesforce, particularly though in the bigger companies. So because they're a market leader, big, huge organizations, tens, hundreds of thousands of employees are picking up Salesforce. So their feature set has really been built around those really big organizations, okay? So they've integrated with a ton of different things. The next thing, because of that ecosystem and being that market leader, is customization. With Salesforce, you can extremely customize the software, particularly to your business. All right, this comes with some trade-offs. Ultimately, it's so customizable that it's really beneficial for organizations, but ultimately it usually ends up being those bigger companies, right? Number 3 is Salesforce has huge reporting capabilities that offers, in-depth analytics. It takes a little bit of time to incorporate this stuff into your business. It really helps you make those data-driven decisions. Now, those are some really good pros of using Salesforce, but it does come with its trade-offs, of course. So some cons of Salesforce here are the complexity. The first one, Salesforce can be extremely overwhelming, especially if you're a smaller to medium-sized business and you're the one actually setting it up and you don't have an entire department that can actually set it up. It takes a ton of customization. There's some out-of-the-box things that you can do to use Salesforce. To get the full value of Salesforce, you usually need to do a lot of setup. The cost of Salesforce. So the pricing of Salesforce can be extremely expensive, especially as you start to upgrade. They have packages that charge, hundreds and hundreds of dollars per user. And if you're using them for every employee in your organization, it can be extremely expensive. And one of the things to kind of point out with this is because of some of the customizations of Salesforce and the complexity, oftentimes people need to hire an entire consulting company to help you set the entire thing up to get the full value from it, which can literally cost hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. So going back to my experience of managing Salesforce for my department and almost becoming the Salesforce administrator, we were spending tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to administer Salesforce to thousands of employees. So it became very, very expensive, but it's a big company and they could afford it, all right? The next con of Salesforce is it's actually limited for outbound sales and automation. So this is actually quite shocking because the CRM is called Salesforce, but a lot of times it requires additional add-ons and other products and tools to use Salesforce appropriately for sales, particularly in the outbound space. So you're oftentimes not just paying for Salesforce, but you're then having to, pay separately for power dialers, for email sequencers, for SMS, all this kind of stuff. So now you're on top of the costs, you're also stitching other products together. Okay, so that's Salesforce. Let's dive into HubSpot. Obviously, you've probably heard of HubSpot. Now, to give you a little background on HubSpot and my experience with it, I use HubSpot for my outbound sales agency. So we used it for ourselves and we did use it for some of our clients. And the pros of HubSpot, it's a really robust all-in-one tool. So unlike Salesforce, where you're kind of stitching tools together, HubSpot has an all-in-one sales, marketing, and customer service all built into one platform. Some of the key aspects of your business as it relates to essentially growing your revenue, sales, and marketing and customer support are like the three main departments that a lot of people end up using CRMs for. On top of that, HubSpot's got a super user-friendly interface. They're known for that. They've got beautiful designs, and it usually makes it super, super easy for teams to adopt the CRM. The third, HubSpot is famous for this. They have, an epic free plan. So it can be really, really attractive, especially for small businesses and startups to pick up HubSpot. All right, so those are the pros of HubSpot. The cons are that it has limited customization. So unlike Salesforce, which is super, super extensive to customize, HubSpot is a little bit more limited in terms of customization, which for some businesses might not be a bad thing, but in other businesses, it might be a bad thing, right? So just depending on your needs, you want to look into this. 2, the cost for advanced features. So although they have a super, super good free plan, that free plan is actually pretty limited and you can easily run into paywalls and then you're forced to upgrade. And usually the second that you upgrade inside of HubSpot, it becomes extremely expensive, particularly if you're a small business, a startup, or even a medium-sized business. You're getting into the thousands and thousands of dollars every single month. Number 3, although HubSpot has some of these sales automation products inside of their platform, they're still limited. They don't have some really robust things inside of the sales automation functionality that still require you to do a lot of manual work. And it does require a separate subscription into their sales hub or other third-party integration. So it can become really, really expensive. Again, that's probably the biggest con with HubSpot as it relates to, especially for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. The third one I want to go over is Zoho. Zoho is not used quite as much as Salesforce and HubSpot. For context, HubSpot was getting super, super expensive, and we went from using HubSpot and another sales CRM in conjunction with HubSpot to using Zoho. So because HubSpot got expensive, we switched over to Zoho and we started using one other sales CRM tool. And even though we were using 2 tools, it was still less expensive than HubSpot. Zoho is super, super affordable. They have really, really aggressive pricing and it's really easy to pick up from a small to medium-sized business perspective. And Zoho has a ton of integrations within their realm of their Zoho suite. They have a ton of different products. So, they have many, many products from CRM to chatbots to marketing systems to literally everything under the sun. You can even build a website within Zoho. So within their realm of software, it integrates pretty well within their existing environment of products. So you can essentially build an entire ecosystem around your business using Zoho. Third, Zoho is pretty customizable. It's fairly close to like a Salesforce in terms of customization. So you can do a ton with it and really tailor it to your organization. Okay, so let's go through some cons of Zoho, just like the others. So first of all, Zoho is limited in integrations. They have a lot of integrations, don't get me wrong, but they're mostly integrated really seamlessly within their own applications. But integrations into other softwares are fairly limited. And you might find yourself kind of stitching different systems together because they want you to use their entire infrastructure of all their different apps. Zoho can also come with a pretty steep learning curve because they have so much functionality similar to a Salesforce. And their front-end user interface isn't really that intuitive, to be honest. It's kind of clunky, and their design work isn't really conducive to operating it all that efficiently, all right? So this can mean that it can take a little bit longer to onboard users and really just get used to. The third thing is that Zoho is actually pretty limited, just like the other two, to outbound sales and automation. And although they have a lot of different features, they're really fairly limited, at least from an outbound sales perspective, and just managing your sales efficiently. You find yourself kind of just clicking around the system, and there's not a ton of automations to really streamline your CRM and your sales. All right, so those are the 3 CRMs that I want to talk about in terms of the big box ones. Let's just kind of recap some of the problems with some of these big box CRMs. And from my experience, there's a lot of CRMs in the market, of course, but most of them, they're not specifically built for B2B sales. Most of them are marketing CRMs or just kind of database storage CRMs, sort of a glorified spreadsheet, so to speak. All right, they can be extremely difficult to implement. With these 3, because they're so big and they're meant a lot of times for bigger companies, they can be really, really hard to implement. And you often need a pretty big team or dedicated team to manage it, or even consultants to help you implement them successfully. And these 3 can be pretty hard to use, again, if you're in the smaller to medium-sized business. All right, and they can get expensive really, really fast, and smaller teams really can't afford it. All right, so now that I've talked about the 3 big box CRMs and some of the main problems with them, of course, the pros as well, let's get into the best CRM that I think for B2B sales. And newsflash, of course, I'm the founder of Uptix. My advice might be a little bit biased, of course, but Uptix has a lot of pros and cons, and I'm gonna go through the pros and cons here, just like I did for HubSpot, Salesforce, and Zoho. So I'm gonna try to give you an unbiased opinion within all of these, in which CRM ultimately will let you decide that you want to use. Uptix is really, really meant for small to medium-sized businesses, particularly if you're sales focused. Okay, you can use it for a lot of other things, but if you've sort of used spreadsheets, Excel files in the past, or you've stitched together other CRMs and you're kind of using it as a glorified spreadsheet and it's not really doing a lot of work for you. Now here's some of the pros. Sales automation is kind of the first thing, all right? Uptix really excels in the game of automation. We've got smart lists and automated enrollments into sequences that are sales and marketing cadences to help you automate any sales task literally under the sun. All right, so that's the first thing. The second is cold outreach. Uptix has a multi-channel sales outreach platform built in for cold emailing. It's got dialer, power dialer, SMS automation, social prospecting, and a centralized inbox to manage all of your email accounts and tasks in one place. And then on top of that, it has the best email deliverability on the planet with 10 plus built-in features to help you land in the primary inbox, which is the number one thing that's preventing pretty much all sales organizations from succeeding. Email deliverability has become extremely, extremely hard to land in the inbox because Google, Outlook, all these platforms are making it a lot harder and filtering your emails out and not helping you get in front of your target prospects. Now, Uptix is customizable. I'll go through some cons. There's some limits there, but you can create unlimited pipelines, unlimited custom fields, so you can use it for your CRM, for you managing your companies, your people, your deal records, all that kind of stuff. There's workflows, and you can tailor all of this to meet your specific needs, all right? Now, we have some out-of-the-box integrations into the platform, so it integrates directly with your email client provider and Zapier and a few more on top of that. And it's pretty scalable in terms of pricing. All right, so our pricing starts at a very, very affordable rate, unlike some of these other systems. So it can really grow with you and support your business along the way. And it's super user-friendly and intuitive. It's an easy front-end user interface, so your team can get started really, really quickly to maximize ultimately your productivity. Now, this wouldn't be an unbiased video if I didn't go through some of the cons of Uptix, all right? So because of the simplicity, Uptix is less complex than some of the big box CRMs. What that means is it's not quite as customizable. So if you're a bigger company who's trying to funnel data in from big departments and sort of aggregate everything into one spot, this can be a limitation within Uptix. But if you're a smaller company, you can probably get away with just using Uptix as your CRM, your outreach tool, your lead nurturing tool, your sales automation tool. So it's a really, really good all-in-one platform for smaller companies, even medium-sized companies, or maybe you use Uptix in conjunction with another CRM. And although I said Uptakes is super customizable and we had some integrations that I talked about up here, we are limited in terms of the number of integrations because we're an all-in-one tool, similar to a Zoho, where we're trying to get everyone to use, ultimately, our platform. So we don't have as many integrations as a Salesforce, a HubSpot, or even a Zoho. So just depending on your needs, you could integrate Uptakes with Zapier, which connects to over 5,000 different applications. So a lot of times you can get away with just using Zapier along with Uptakes side by side. So if you're looking for a CRM to boost your B2B sales, I'd love for you to give Uptakes a try. That's all I have for you today. If you found the information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your network, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more sales, marketing, and entrepreneurship content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.